Oh yeah. Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And we made it. There it
Oh.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man.
Right on. We're here. 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
249th, if I'm not mistaken. We got one more to go for that grand old 250, right?
Oof. It's gonna be a good one.
Did you
Go off with a
hear?
bang.
Well, Trump announced he's gonna have an octagon built in the lawn of the White House. They're gonna do a UFC battle
Shut the fuck
for
up.
the yes, dude, on the lawn
Shut
of the
the
White
fuck
House for
up.
for this celebration, man.
I
Yeah.
really hope they do Americans against Brits. That would
Oh no,
top it off.
Canadians.
What is going on with the Canadians online?
What? I'm not following. Why are they?
Just
Have they
seen a lot of shit talking from the Canucks up there about how Canada's better.
than
And we have
America?
we have this fascist guy. Like better than your pussy.
I know. I mean, Canada's the worst, dude. They went full fascism with the COVID lockdowns. Remember the truckers
Yeah.
whole situation that was unfolding? And they were like the government was going into the bank accounts of people of Canadians who were sending money to the truckers.
Yeah.
So I think they got a little more fascism going on than we do here in America.
But I think
And
they were about to do the same thing with the anti-ICE protesters.
you mean the Trump organization is going to start going
I,
into the bank accounts of the?
al- Allegedly, that's why they stopped protesting.
Well, it's effective. I'll give it to give that to them, right? You know what they're doing.
But hey, man, you weren't kidding. Joey Chestnut, 70 and a half hot dogs.
Yeah, he broke the world record.
10 minutes.
Um so it's 4th of July. I personally live for maybe my favorite tradition of all time on the 4th. Not the fireworks, not the grilling, not the concerts, not the parades. No, I'm talking about grown men stuffing their face with hot dogs, Mike. This is what I live for these days.
You're not going to get to the record, but 70 would be a remarkable feat.
Oh, he's blowing them out of the water. Look at that.
Watch him
Second
here in the
place,
last
45.
seconds. Joey's going to get it in. Boom.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, the chestnut, man.
Eating too. The etiquette is just executive.
Joey
Alright.
Chestnut, Victor, he blew away the competition and dominated 70 and a half hot dogs to I think 45. Was that
Yeah.
the runner up there?
It's crazy. There's so many
46.
hot dogs.
It's so disgusting.
10 minutes.
Yeah, man. He crushed it. No, is it 10 minutes? No.
That's what it says here.
Really? I thought it was a shorter amount of time. That's a long time to be shoving hot dogs down your mouth. Uh, wow. All
Yeah. That's
right.
a 7 a minute.
That's a lot of dongs and wieners.
Hey,
So
everybody's got to be good at something, right? Well, good for him.
huge fan of this. I was reading in, I think, NPR or Associated Press. They did a deep dive on Joey Chestnut, the reigning champion of the Nathan's hot dog eating competition. They followed him around for a week. They kind of got the in-depth how-to on his entire training regimen and how he prepares his body and mind and spirit for this competition he does every year. Apparently, Joey Chestnut, big salad eater, which I was kind of blown away. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Loves to rock the salad, and then he'll do like some mini hot dog competitions like in the lead up. He'll be at home just like down in a bunch of dogs, and then kind of go through that, eat some salad, thin it out, maybe do some intermittent fasting, and then he hits it hard on game day.
Wow.
Pretty impressive, huh?
I'm not that impressed, but good for him. I'm a little impressed.
I just think people need to admire what we're seeing here. This is a bunch of people. They get together every year on the 4th, and they challenge one another to eat as many hot dogs as possible. And there's a whole methodology to it. You like soak the bun in the water, and you're eating like wet bun while like swallowing the hot dogs basically whole.
And
It's
no condiments, right? I gotta
Yeah,
have at
man.
least
No,
mustard on
I
that.
think I think they're going plain dogs, man.
Yeah.
But when I think about America and what we offer to the world, I really think our number one export is our culture. And so here we are. This is the culture we are exporting to the world. Slamming hot dogs, 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Good call. Happy birthday, America.
Yeah, man. There's no better way
Yeah.
to celebrate it. So I had a great weekend. I went out
Man.
to Boulder on Thursday night because we had Friday off of work. We decided to go see Fish. They were playing at Folsom Field, where the
Wow.
CU Buffs play. Fish did a 3-night stand. We had a great time, and so much fun actually that Emma decided she wanted to go again. So we went again last night.
What? To another fish show? 2 fish shows?
Double down on the Fish. My God, I gotta say, I'm old. You know what I'm saying? I can feel the residual of the multi-day affair. And we went to Metallica like 7. I've seen more shows in 7 days than I did an entire year last year. So I'm pretty
Wow.
worn out from it all. But oh man, the Fish crowd, dude, there is just nothing like it. I gotta say, we were kind of cracking up because we had spots that were general admission, and we were hanging up more towards the top so you get a nice view of everything. And you go to a Grateful Dead show, everyone's grooving, there's a lot of grooving going on, but Fish isn't really groovy music. I kind of noticed it's wobble music, and you got a bunch of just like dudes wobbling around, and not in unison in any way. It's just various wobbling going on, and everybody's just on drugs, and it's fat dudes in sandals everywhere. That's the one thing that I
Good
noticed.
call. A lot of
Fat
cargo shorts.
cargo shorts,
Yeah.
sandals, fat hairy dudes wearing flip-flops and cargo shorts.
Just thinking about the good old days. Just
Yeah.
reminiscing. Yeah.
It was a good time though. We were really kind of cracking up today thinking about some of the people we got to see and hang out with, folks we haven't gotten down with in quite a while. And I mean, I was pretty beat just being at my second show for the weekend. We were with dudes in their 50s dropping acid and taking shrooms and snorting lines of coke and doing all sorts of crap on their third night in a row.
Damn.
I can't imagine.
And then going to work on Monday?
I don't know. I'm not sure if these guys are employed or how these fellas are operating in the real world sense, but yeah, man. So good times though. We had a lot of fun. I was actually very impressed. There's like noise violation rules, so they couldn't really go very long into the evening, so they had to keep the sets kind of tight. And so wasn't as much dillying on the guitars, if you will,
Gotcha.
meandering through the sound.
That's
So
cool, though.
the wobbling was a little contained. The fat guy in sandals wobbling around. Good
2
times though.
fish shows.
Yeah, man. I know. I'm too old for that, dude. I don't know how do people
That's
do this
intense.
touring with the bands? I don't even understand how that works. I mean, we saw the second night. They didn't repeat any songs or anything like that. They got quite a repertoire and catalog that they can dip into. But I mean, even on the second night, I'm like, feels like I've just heard all these songs already, like the other night. You know what I mean? They're different songs, but
They're They're all the same song.
Yeah, I'm too old for jam band music now because it's just it's a bunch of fiddly diddly doo-wopping. It goes round and round and round and round and round, you know. And I'm just like, all right, let's get to the chorus and wrap things up so I can
Yeah.
catch the Uber out of here, my man.
I think chorus give me 3 minutes, get a bit of break, new song.
Yeah, it was a big weekend though for music. I don't know if you were following any of this at all, but Oasis reunited for the first time in 20 years, I believe.
Wow.
And they put on this huge show. It was all over. People were very yeah.
Oasis, huh?
Yeah, man,
Were
you know.
people waiting for Oasis to come back?
Believe it or not, there was a huge wait for Oasis to get back together, and they played a huge sold out show somewhere in England. It was
Wow.
massive. And the
Are they
next
English, huh?
Yeah, you know, this is funny. I was thinking about this the other day, like naming my favorite American rock bands. Like my five, what would be your five top American rock bands? Right. And when you really dig into it, you're gonna automatically have to remove some classic UK and New Zealand rock bands, AC/DC, The
And
Who,
Canadian.
you
Yeah.
know, the Zeppelin, you know, these are the Stones. These are bands that can't be, you know, actually not a lot of American rock bands when you really think about it. It's
I
mostly UK.
know. Did you
Um,
see Ozzy Osbourne?
and that's where I was
Still
going. Yes,
rocking?
dude, that
Oh,
was their
man.
farewell. They haven't also
Ah.
played in like 20 years, and Ozzy has Parkinson's, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I think it's somewhat advanced, but he was able to at least sit on a really kick-ass, devilish throne, something straight out of hell, I imagine. You know, it was this dark, black, twisted, satanic throne, and he rocked out. Did you watch any of the clips? I thought it was pretty impressive,
I
actually.
saw a couple clips, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kinda sad. It's just sad. But,
They're
you know,
old. Yeah.
he had a good life.
He had a great life.
great life.
Yes, absolutely. I thought the most impressive thing actually was Aerosmith's Steven Tyler came out and he hasn't performed in like a year or two, if I'm not mistaken, because he like blew out his lyrical cords or something. And it's the first time he's performed since then. And they did a whole
Hmm.
lot of love by Zeppelin. I thought it was a really great rendition, actually.
No, I didn't see it.
Pretty
Didn't see it.
solid. Pretty solid, man.
Yeah.
He's got the chops to do some Zeppelin, even in his ripe old age of whatever he's at, you know?
80 something.
It's crazy though, we don't have like
Yeah.
awesome rock stars anymore. This crop is dying off, these legends from the 60s and 70s, and there's no one really behind them to replace them. What do we have left? Foo Fighters and Green Day? Is that
Yeah.
what we're down to?
Whoa. Yeah, that's it. That's
You know,
the
I went and saw Metallica with Limp Bizkit last week,
Bizkit,
you know? I
yeah.
mean, that's what we're left with here, man. We're not gonna have these legendary figures rocking out in the next 5, 10 years. This is it. This is the swan song, man.
Mm.
Right? So we
Got
gotta
a lot
enjoy
of
it.
weird rappers.
Yeah, we're in the generation where, like, Ice Cube
of
will be
weird
going
rappers.
on his tour in, like, 30 years or something, and he'll be super
He
old, and
Yeah, he already is, man. Ice Cube's gotta be, like, 60.
right, but maybe in, like, 20 years, he's gonna do, like, a NWA will do, like, a farewell last concert, and it'll, you know, be Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Eminem will be out there. They'll all be, like, in their electric scooters, and
Ice Cube is 56.
wow, alright. He's still younger, right? Yeah, he could still probably hit the tour scene for a little while. I don't do the rappers tour anymore? We're kind of
I
in a
don't know.
it's weird how 30 years from now, who are we gonna have touring the country, rocking out the arenas, man?
What's gonna be like Nas X or whatever? What was that guy?
Is that the gay cowboy guy?
Yeah, something like that.
And Post Malone?
And Little Baby.
Yeah, see, no real
Yeah.
musicians, you know, no bands anymore. And there's no like up and coming bands. What are the modern new rockers who there's nothing. We got nothing, man. So this is it. We're out of choices after this next round of retirees, if you will.
You know who died, dude? That dude from Kill Bill, all the Tarantino movies.
Michael
Was it-
Madsen.
Yeah,
I know, huge fan, man.
yeah, that guy's in a lot of great movies, huh?
I read an interview with him, and I think maybe this is where Liev Schreiber got his game plan for his entire career.
Yeah,
It was
to
from
just be
Michael
in the
Madsen.
background. Yeah.
Michael Madsen is the original Liev Schreiber.
Dude, for sure, he's
Dude,
in every movie.
every movie, dude. And in one of his classic old interviews that resurfaced, he talked about how he realized early on he wasn't Brad Pitt or, one of these superstar actors, so he just had to work as much as possible so he could guarantee to put food on the table for his kids and get them to go to school and all this stuff. So he decided, well, I'm just gonna take every gig I can find and take. And so he ended up just being in like every movie ever. It's incredible.
What a career. What a great attitude.
Greatest movie though, Reservoir Dogs, I gotta say, where he
Yeah.
tortures the cop. I mean, is there a more iconic scene and a more iconic movie from that era? So,
Yeah.
that's what we're left with here. What a legacy, man.
Everybody thinks of that scene when they hear the song.
Yeah, Stuck in the Middle with
It's
You.
so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Awesome stuff. Well, Mike,
Speaking of rappers and everything, biggest news of the week. Diddy.
I know.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Dude, all the major charges. He's gonna walk, huh?
He was found guilty on 2 counts, which is really crazy. Diddy walks, basically. So they're not letting him bail post bail, but Diddy skates on most serious charges, and they convicted him on 2 counts. It's looking serious there. Let's see here. So they acquitted him of racketeering, sex trafficking, and 2 sex trafficking counts.
It's crazy.
What's weird is he got the 2 charges he did get were on the transportation of the prostitutes, which I find to be very interesting.
Yeah, how is that the crime? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. So
you can't buy hookers from out of state?
I don't know how that works.
Is that what
and
they said?
I thought that was where they were getting the trafficking from. But this whole thing
Yeah.
was such a bust, man. What happened to the tapes and the list? No Diddy list. What about all the celebrities that were at these freak off whiteout parties? Leo DiCaprio, Ashton
where's
Kutcher's
Ashton Kutcher?
friends, his
Yeah,
friends,
his
man. We were
friends,
looking out
dude.
for his friends, dude. Come on.
Nah, it turned out to be a dud.
We got nothing, man. It's unreal.
It's a dud.
I had a clip
All we
of
found out is that he has a really weird sex life and loves fucking dudes who are trying to be rappers.
Yeah,
We
he-
learned the whole rap game is gay.
everybody's gay. Diddy's gay. He likes to bang dudes, and then he likes to watch dudes bang his wife or
wife.
girlfriend.
Right.
He's really into that.
It makes sense why these guys go to prison so much.
Right. Yeah, they like it.
They love it.
Yeah, they love the shower scene in in prison. They're all about the shower.
That's gross.
And I mean, we really all we got out of this was Diddy loves to jump into baby pools filled with baby oil, right?
I'm still not sold as a bad thing.
No, it actually piqued many of our interests
Yeah.
out here in the podcasting world.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock something if I haven't tried something. And just by thinking about the baby oil, like in the baby pool with the oil, sounds kind of fun. All right, I don't know
I
about
would do it if I didn't have to clean up.
Yeah, or do I have to pay for the male prostitute to bang my wife, or can I skip that part
Skip
also
that.
and just do the baby oil in the pool? I'm not sure what goes with what. Does something go first? Is it a chicken and the egg scenario?
Chicken the egg, yeah.
Or do I fill up the pool with the baby oil and the male prostitute just arrives the second the pool is filled with the oil?
I mean, just think about what they're saying now. It's like, all right, so you were in a baby pool of oil while this multiple male prostitutes were fucking your wife.
Right.
Who allegedly didn't like it but kept doing it.
Exactly.
And the only thing we're mad about is you flew this male prostitute in from out of town.
Yeah, that
Like, that's the only this whole thing, that's what we have a problem with. Did that guy take
right.
a plane to get here?
Yeah, so it seems like it's bullshit. I think he's gonna walk because they got him on the 2 lesser charges, and there doesn't seem to be really I assume he could just pay his way out of it, honestly.
Well, they're saying he could still do 10 years.
Well, he's not. According to Suge Knight called in from prison to the Chris Cuomo show. The audio's really bad, so I don't really, have a good clip of it, um, because he's literally calling from, like, a payphone, and the collect call thing comes on in the
No
middle of it.
way.
Oh, yeah,
Like, from a prison?
he's calling from prison, yeah,
Oh,
Chris
that's so
Cuomo,
funny. That's so
and
funny.
he, in the clip, he talks about how this is 2 weeks, I think, before the verdict happened, but Suge Knight, essentially, from prison, predicted that Diddy was going to basically walk, and he said that there was no way they're gonna get him on the harsh charges of trafficking or racketeering or the RICO stuff. None of that was gonna happen because Diddy works with the feds. And Suge Knight is adamant that P Diddy's been working with the FBI for 30 plus years, and that there was no
Mhm.
way that he's going to actually go to jail. He's going to walk, but they had to get him a little slap on the wrist for something. So they hit him with the prostitute thing. They're gonna lower the charges, and he's probably gonna get probation and house arrest, and that's it. That's the end of the story. And we're never gonna hear anything about Leo DiCaprio or Justin Bieber or
Nah,
Ashton Kutcher's friends. None of
nah.
that will come
Same thing with
out.
the Epstein list. It's all on the
Same,
same shelf,
yes.
you know?
Do videotapes and terabytes of footage exist of celebrities probably doing salacious things at these freak off parties? Absolutely. I'm sure they're out there. We're never gonna see them though. And that's it.
But why now, man? Why'd they go after him now? That's what I don't understand. What, like, triggered it?
Maybe there's a new Diddy in town. They get rid of the old Diddy. We got the new Diddy.
Uh,
There's definitely a new Epstein somewhere. We don't know where, but there's a new
it's
Epstein
gotta be,
island.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new little St. James Island, and there's a new Lolita Express, and all the and Matt Gates and what's that other dingleberry? Eric Swalwell.
Oh,
They're
they're both there.
first
Yeah.
class every weekend flying on
Every
this
time.
Lolita Express, man.
Laughing at
Absolutely.
America, thinking that they're,
Yes.
against each other.
Yeah, man. So, I, that's probably what it is. Maybe Diddy wanted to get out of the game, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna bust you, and then we're gonna get you out of the game.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff works. Or they may kill Diddy. This might be the end of Diddy, right? He may think he's walking, but really, someone's waiting for him at his mansion. They cut the power.
I
Security
don't think you
cameras go
could
out.
kill him. It'd be too obvious.
Now, yeah, I feel like it would be
Yeah.
way too obvious.
Not after Epstein. You gotta wait a few more years.
Right.
Like, they had to wait 20 years to do another 9/11. That's why now I think probably something will happen soon.
We do seem a bit ripe for a 9/11, a false flag for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Alex Jones guaranteed one for the 4th of July. Yeah, that's right, man.
Nah, nothing.
No false flag. Although you could claim that maybe what happened in Texas was a false flag.
The flood?
Yeah, man. Come on. We're talking weather modification, bro. HARP technology, man. Come on.
Yeah, this one's a little weird. A lot of water.
It rained so hard that the river rose, was it 15 feet in 45 minutes?
It was something ridiculous, yeah.
It's really
something
insane.
ridiculous.
And this sucker wiped out like an entire camp of little kids. I think a lot of little kids died in this one, actually.
That's really sad. Yeah.
Pretty nuts, dude.
Pretty sad.
So a lot of people out there claiming that it was some sort of HARP technology. This is very reminiscent of what happened with Ashbury. No, what is it? Ashton? No, not Ashton Kutcher. Asheville in South Carolina.
North Carolina.
That's right, man. When they miraculously flooded a mountain town. Um,
From a hurricane.
Let's see here. What am I looking at with this bad boy? This is a time lapse of the water, the river that rose, and you can just watch this thing just fill like instantly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow, man. And so epic
Look at this, is
destruction.
above the trees now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I like how fast the people eventually were like, "Well, we should probably get the hell out of here." Yeah,
That is nuts.
pretty crazy stuff, man. So, I don't
Uh,
know, maybe HARP technology, I don't know how this stuff works. They're claiming, a lot of people who follow the NextRad Doppler radar stuff are saying that there were all sorts of spooky anomalies going on from a radar perspective over this area, and this storm just kind of developed hyper quickly and just kind of stayed put and kept regenerating and, you know, created a superstorm. HARP
could,
technology, bro.
could be. It's a little weird. But they did say something interesting in one of the articles about it, how they are doing the cloud seeding in that area of Texas.
Yes.
But they also talk about places like Colorado where they only do it in winter. They do the cold weather cloud seeding.
That's right, man.
So I
Yeah.
don't know, man. You might be wrong about this summer.
Well, they've been cloud seeding a lot less. I told you, I sent you a picture of it on Thursday. It was the first time I'd seen chemtrails since World War III broke out. And so
Right.
we had one day of chemtrails and then they disappeared, and it's been very sunny here and beautiful white puffy clouds. But then of course they looks like they geared all their chemtrail energy towards Texas and
So now you're gonna
bombarded.
get it in a couple days, probably Monday.
They'll be back. Yeah, definitely. We'll get after it. No, I don't know if they will be back. So, um, a momentous week last week, I gotta say. A lot of awesome stuff occurred that, you know, as everything goes with Trump, it seems like we're moving at breakneck speed with everything. But Trump finally had what I would say is a hugely victorious week. Right at the last minute on the 4th of July, they passed the big, beautiful bill.
So stupid.
So stupid, but reason to celebrate. Let's get a little recap here.
Overnight, President Trump confident he can sell his signature legislation to the American people.
Yeah, I think it's very popular.
After taking a victory lap outside Washington, touting the passage of his mega bill at an Iowa rally celebrating America's founding.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago.
While lashing out at Democrats for
I like how he's been president for 6 months and he's back on the campaign trail doing rallies. This guy is a maniac, man. It's unbelievable.
And rally
dude.
for what? He can't even run for office.
He just wants to, because he loves this country so much. He wants everybody to just get on up and celebrate, baby. Let's rally, man. Let's feel good about America.
He just loves having a big crowd.
He puts on the
Listening to him
hats.
talk.
He's got the
It's so
flags
funny.
behind him. Yeah, and he loves just yelling into the microphone, man. It's
So
awesome.
funny. He gets everybody around him to wear those stupid hats. That's the best.
opposing his so-called big, beautiful bill.
They wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that?
The legislation is a major win for the White House after weeks of negotiations and marathon sessions in Congress.
The motion is adopted.
The bill passing 218 to 214.
They obviously cut it because they didn't want to play it because legacy media hates what's going on in our country. But the House broke out into a USA chant when they passed the bill.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Come
They're all
on.
going to make a lot of money. Dude, did you see the outrage over how he said he hates them too? He hates the Democrats too. And they're going nuts over how could a president hate half the country. You guys have been calling him Hitler. You've been calling him Hitler for 10 years. Yeah, he hates you now. Oh, how dare he? He hates half the country. Yeah, you guys think he's Hitler. You guys hate him so much. You are now pro poison in the food.
Yes.
That's how
Yeah,
much you
man.
hate him. Okay, he hates you too.
You're into seed oils and petroleum food dyes in children's food. This
And
is like in
fluoride
fluoride
and vaccine
water.
and autism. You're like for it. What?
So, I made this comment on the last episode, and I stick to it, which is when it comes to these gigantic bills that are thousands of pages and stuffed with all this extra crap, so every lobbyist can get whatever they want out of this. In the end, we lose our freedoms, and these people
Yeah.
make a shit ton of money, man. That's all these bills are about.
Always.
Always, dude. It's the
You
bottom
see that?
line here.
You see that cap on the no tax on tips? It's like 24 G's.
Really? Wow. Of
Yeah.
course, man. No,
So stupid.
we're not getting anything, but we did get one
Nah.
positive, maybe silver lining to the big, beautiful bill, which is buried within there is a defunding of the NOAA geoengineering programs.
Right. Which they're now blaming on. That's why Texas flooded.
Yeah, I love this idea how they say, well, we're doing geoengineering, but not really. It's a conspiracy theory. We're not doing it. But we're also funding it with $500 million, a year or whatever. And now we're outraged because you're cutting our funding for the geoengineering, which is just a conspiracy theory. It's not going on. But now that you're cutting our funding, a superstorm just unleashed on Texas and flooded a town and killed like 100 people. And so which is it? Are you geoengineering or are you not geoengineering? Like, is it real or is it a conspiracy?
If you're not geoengineering, what do you need the money for?
That's what
Yeah.
if geoengineering is a conspiracy theory, if you're not modifying the weather, why do you need hundreds of millions of dollars allocated to geoengineer the weather? What is it
Good
for?
call,
What are
good
you
call.
doing?
What are you doing with it?
And now you're outraged that you no longer have the funding for your conspiracy theory of geoengineering? Like, what the fuck is going on here? What?
Well, because
It's
what they were
incredible.
doing with it was starting bullshit companies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, that
Like green companies. You know,
that Dorico Dingleberry guy, the Rainmaker, that was on Sean Ryan's show. He's all over the news this week because his company was the one that was cloud seeding in Texas before the storm happened. Remember the dude, the dude with the mullet that we showed on here like a month ago?
No.
Yeah, he was on Sean Ryan's show. He does the cloud seeding business, man. It's called Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. Nah, I don't remember.
We made fun of him for like 30 minutes.
But but were they cloud seeding like the day of or before?
I was seeing somewhere it was either the day before and or um within hours of it unleashing.
Wow, might be their fault.
How do you not remember this turd, Augustus Dorico, with the mullet, man?
I kind of remember him vaguely. He's forgettable.
I'll give you that. Yes, he is quite forgettable. Yeah, Dorico, he's the founder of Rainmaker, a cloud seeding geoengineering startup. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I don't think they're really. I really think they're just wasting money, lining their pockets.
All right.
I
Right
don't think
on.
they're really geoengineering. Get out of here.
You're saying they're not geoengineering.
I mean, they might be trying a little bit, but I assume most of that money just goes to lining pockets.
All right, I'll give it to you.
You know,
All righty.
I wish I could start a company that got government funding, government grants.
I know. I think you got to combine something with like race, gender, throw some tranny stuff in there, and then green something. Like the geoengineering. something with blocking the sunlight or making it rain.
But now
You
they're
know.
stopping all that. That's what. Now we got to come up with something else.
They're definitely stopping it. And what's beautiful
Yeah.
about what happened here in Texas, the only good element to it is it got Marjorie Taylor Greene all fired up on X. And she went out there and said, I am introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. I've been researching weather modification and working with the Legislative Council for months writing this bill. It will be similar to Florida's Senate Bill 56, which DeSantis just signed into passing last week. We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. All right, man. We're getting a bill in Congress.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. This is going mainstream. I love it, man. It's just so
Marjorie
infuriating.
Taylor Greene. Come on.
I mean, I'll take
That's
anyone
not
at this point.
mainstream.
I'll take the insane ones for right now. You know what? With the cloud seeding and being the insane person pointing into the sky and trying to tell people like they're doing all this crap, I'm the guy dancing alone on the hill. You know?
Right.
I'm the maniac dancing alone. But now I got Ron DeSantis and Marjorie Taylor Greene joining me on that hill, dancing like maniacs, man. And so we're getting a crowd going now. There's something happening. There's momentum.
There's momentum. Yeah.
There's enough
Let's see.
power in the House that I think the Republicans can push this through. Ultimately, this is a Democrat-based idea and concept. Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum and all these monsters that are part of the NWO, the New World Order, they are behind all of this crap with our military-industrial complex. So it'd be nice to get the ball rolling while we have the power in the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Huge fan.
Well, you're on your way. Here we go. Start with Marjorie. I don't know if this bill will pass.
I think it will. I'm very excited. I'm a believer. And just lately, honestly, I mean, I'm kind of, I'm sad for Texas, but it was nice to have another week of just blue skies, only one day with the chemtrails. And it's so obvious now that they're not chemtrailing as much when they do it. It's just in your face. Like, what is this crap? We now have more of a kind of other version of, we can see what the clouds or the sky looks like normally more often, so we can compare and contrast in
You don't
real
think
time.
it has to do with like summer, it's drier?
No, I'm telling you, it never matters. The temperature, never, dude. The chemtrails, it's and honestly, when it comes to the chemtrails, I'm a firm believer that there's something to do with industrial waste. They must be, because when I was thinking about the fluoride, right? Like the fluoride is industrial waste that they had to get rid of, and they're just like, we'll dump it in the water and tell people it's good for them.
It's good for your teeth.
It's good for your teeth, and they're gonna probably do the same thing with the chemtrails eventually. They're gonna deny, call you crazy and a conspiracy nut job for believing that there's something going on. Then they're gonna admit it and be like, but this is why it's healthy for you. It's
Oh, you need it.
we're cleaning your lungs. Right?
It makes your bones stronger.
That's right, dude.
It really disproportionately affects minorities of color.
That's right.
Communities of color.
Yes, dude.
Yeah. That's why we need it.
Yeah, man. So, very sad though, ultimately what went down in Texas. I think you could err on the side of just natural disasters do happen, and maybe just the situation was just right? For it to go down.
Freak accidents.
Or that weirdo Augustus Dorico and his lame geoengineering company were doing something in the sky, or maybe the government was doing something. Who knows, right? Anyone and everyone can be blamed, which is why mainstream media and everybody in the legacy media world are deciding that we're going to blame Trump for this whole thing because he just defunded the weather tracking systems. I love it. It's immediately Trump's fault. Even though we just signed the big, beautiful bill like 48 hours ago, everything's defunded automatically. And this
no
whole
way
thing is
it went
Trump's
into
fault.
place yet. There's no way it went into place. It's like, yeah.
I'm surprised nobody blamed the storm on the Trump's tariffs, actually. Maybe that's coming down the line, but
I haven't heard anything about the tariffs in a while.
No, they're busy with everything else going on in the world, and that's why when we need when we need clarity for moments like this kind of disaster that unfolded, we should always go to reasonable, logical thinking minds, such as Rosie O'Donnell, who lives in Dublin. She's living in Ireland,
America.
That's
so
right.
Funny.
So we got Rosie here, and she's gonna give us her take on why and how the tragedy unfolded in Texas.
A horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas. The Guadalupe River. 51 missing. 51 dead, more missing. Children. at a camp. And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering
You're gonna
forecast
blame him
abilities
for the
of
children
the
at the
government,
camp.
these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily
Love
basis
that.
because
Just
he's put this
directly.
country in so much.
Dude, the straight up going from children in the camp to when the president. It's Trump's fault that those girls died in the camp. Come on, man.
No, this is Trump derangement syndrome right here. A tragedy unfolds. It rained a shit ton. You can be a nut job with the conspiracies and blame weather modification. Who cares, right? But ultimately, a tragedy unfolded. It took her 14 seconds to get from the tragedy to why Trump is responsible for everything that just happened that's bad. 14 seconds, dude. Like, that is insane. To take a tragedy in within seconds, how do I make this Donald Trump's fault? That it's an amazing
Donald Trump's
pivot.
fault, who is just a bumbling, stumbling, dementia-ridden moron.
Right. The emperor wears no clothes, right? Is that what?
Yeah, the worst emperor to wear no clothes, Frank.
That's right. The worst.
He is the worst emperor to wear no clothes.
I find it so incredible when I was like perusing the news and I saw what was unfolding in Texas. I could think of like, wow, this is crazy. And I always go towards, I wonder what they're doing with the HARP technology and all this stuff. But not in one moment what was I in my head like, this has to be something with Hunter Biden or something with Joe Biden, that monster. I bet you Kamala Harris was behind all of this. Like, no, like, if anything, Bill Gates. Like, can we just blame Bill Gates for shit like
the
this?
Real villain.
Seriously,
yes.
You know, Bill Gates probably most likely involved on some level with what took place in Texas. Not Biden or Trump. Like, none of the politicians had anything to do with this. And does everything have to be about American politics? Everything?
Right, good call.
Come
everything has to
on.
be Trump.
Yes.
Why does everything have to go back to Trump?
Can't we just have a shared common enemy, the CIA? Please, people, can't we all band together and hate the CIA? Like, why can't we do that? Come on, man.
I thought you were going to go with the Jews, but I'll hate the CIA too.
Right? We'll toss the Jews in there, all right? Let's find some unity here, man.
Danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already. Shame.
They just signed it. The people already started dying because the It should be not like Republicans were cheering on the people dying.
No, that's what. As the children's bodies floated away in the river, the Republicans cheered and chanted USA in the chambers of Congress. It's so unreal, dude.
Maybe that's why you guys are losing elections, man. You're not in this. You're really not in reality right now. That is crazy.
Shame on him. Shame on every GOP sycophant who's listening and following the disastrous decisions of this mentally incapacitated POTUS. Hard to believe.
Yeah, and I
He's
like
mentally
how...
incapacitated.
Yeah, dude, that's right.
He is. Not the guy, not President Autopen, who was the sharpest man in the room. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, dude.
I love this duality. I can't even say it. Duality that these people live in, where Trump is a mastermind, evil genius dictator, but also he's a mush brain, dementia riddled, just total moron. Simultaneously, this guy exists in both those worlds. That's so hilarious, man. Yeah.
Dude, she's only 63 years old.
Wow.
That's a rough 63. Her, Ellen, like all these chicks look rough.
It's the Trump derangement syndrome. That's what it is.
which is weighs heavily on them, huh?
Well, did you see what happened to Kathy Griffin?
Oh, that was another one.
She
What
turned
is
into
going
like,
on?
yeah, some sort of
What is that?
that is a nightmare. It's like the Chucky doll mixed with Pennywise, from It, like there's
Oh,
some
absolutely.
combination going on here. I mean, look, it would be really tough to be a celebrity and, constantly being followed by the paparazzi. You always probably have to look your best, but I don't even think she's trying right there. And what's really weird that those pictures came out, she just posted a strange video last week where she like knitted a bunch of decapitated heads of like Trump and all these other MAGA
Kathy
celebrities.
Griffin?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
remember
think
she got
so.
in trouble for the picture with the head
Yeah,
and
the
the knife?
decapitated head, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Huh.
think I don't know, I think
She's
she
going crazy, huh?
yes, dude, I mean, she looks nuts. Looks like
And
a
it's
totally insane person.
and it's not her fault, it's clearly Trump's.
Yes. What, that she looks crazy? Or
Yeah. Well, it's his
yeah, I
fault for
mean,
everything.
she looks nuts now, dude. Yeah, I can't find anything on the knitted heads. Maybe I made that up. But
Yeah,
she
so
it's been a long weekend.
Rosie looks more like the knitter.
Yeah, good call. Absolutely. And she has a lot of time on her hands, not doing a
Out in
lot.
Dublin.
So yeah, all right. Everybody's got the Trump derangement syndrome though, and it's really causing people to age poorly and become disfigured and kind of
Mm.
lose their minds. So
I think
we're
it's just being a Democrat, not necessarily the Trump. Because when you're a Democrat, it's just you're facing all of these existential crises, like
right, dude.
at all times. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yes.
so many things going on. You're talking about systemic racism, you got climate change, you got a dictator in the office right now. I mean,
Yeah, man.
how
And
do you
a
sleep at night?
good call, especially if you believe ICE agents are going to pull you out of your bed and send you down to Alligator Alcatraz at any moment, right? So,
At any moment, right?
yes.
Because they start with the immigrants,
Right.
then they're coming for you.
Then they go to Hollywood and they get the actors and
Yeah. That, Alligator Alcatraz is hilarious.
it's really funny stuff. Apparently it flooded this past week. So it's not the safest place, but it's where we're sending these migrants, these illegals.
Oh,
So
it's a swamp.
it's a swamp, right? And they put
Swamp
up a
flood.
new sign on the highway calling it Alligator Alcatraz, which I found to be very hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
DeSantis is hamming it up. He's really having a lot of fun with this one. And I think he knows that when it comes to the migrant situation, it's again this 80-20 issue where most people who think logically don't want illegal migrants just flooding into this country.
Yeah, it's never good. Look at Europe.
Yes, man.
Hey, we
Everything is
don't
for some reason it's just maybe it's the lack of chemtrails, but just the air smells better in America these days. I don't know. I've been like outside, I'm like, man, it's like smells cleaner. The water tastes better. We're living the Maha lifestyle, and just Trump's bringing America back on so many levels. Like there's patriotism now. I noticed I have some neighbors over the 4th. Em and I, we love to watch the fireworks show from our rooftop and not the city sanctioned show, which they apparently canceled fireworks in like Boulder and all these other places in Colorado. No, our neighbors, they go to the local parks that we have here and they put on a spectacular get down
yeah.
with the fireworks. And so we get to just hang out and watch everybody explode the neighborhood for about
That's
4 or
awesome.
5 hours. Oh, so
Yeah.
amazing, man.
Did you
But
see that video going around of Chicago?
I
'Cause
did not see this. No.
'cause they canceled the fireworks show,
Right.
and fireworks, like anything more than a sparkler is illegal,
Same here. Yeah, we have
you
the
know?
same issue.
But there's a video where the guy goes around from a rooftop and he just pans around the city and it's just everywhere, man. Just like huge fireworks going off.
That's awesome. That's what we had here because they canceled, like I said, the Boulder fireworks show and the drone show. They just had nothing going on, and liberals, I guess, were protesting the 4th of July this year. Did you see any of this? This was like a trend they were trying to get
I did notice it was
going.
a lot nicer out, so
That's
thank
what
you
I'm
for
saying.
staying home.
That's-
Yeah, a lot of positive energy there.
Don't.
You know?
Here, people were giving Jared Polis a hard time in Colorado because he banned fireworks, and it's illegal to shoot off your own fireworks, to cross state lines, go to Wyoming, come back with some high powered gear. Totally illegal, but at the same time, you can openly smoke fentanyl on the street corner in Denver. Nobody will arrest you.
Dude, I
No,
know,
no problems. You
insane.
can openly freebase drugs on the
Insane.
street, totally fine, totally legal. In fact, if you overdose, someone can drag your carcass down the street, and there's probably we have these boxes now. Most nice neighborhoods, they have those little libraries where people stock them with
Right,
books. In
right.
Denver, we have the Narcan boxes where you go there, and if you're
Oh,
ODing, you can just,
nice.
get yourself back out of the OD and start doing drugs again. Like nothing happened.
I
So,
think you sniffed the Narcan,
is
don't
that,
you?
yeah, you sniff it up and you're back at it and
Whoa.
shooting up the heroin or smoking the crack,
Ah.
freebasing the fentanyl, whatever it is. So yeah, you could freebase
That's
drugs.
so funny.
Totally fine. No one will arrest you. But if we catch you shooting off firecrackers in your suburban neighborhood, we're gonna bust you and
Well, it's
give
for
you a
your
massive fine.
safety.
That's right.
Because right, that's what kills me. It's for your safety, Frank. No. We don't care about your safety when it comes to letting these homeless set up encampments right outside a playground. We don't care about that. But we're worried about you hurting yourself with fireworks.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I mean, where I go running at lunch in South Denver, I literally saw people freebasing at the park underneath a filthy comforter, just openly smoking drugs, and at the same time, people are getting pulled over because their license plate doesn't have the up-to-date tags on it. It's like, okay,
No
well,
seatbelt.
yeah,
Again, for your safety.
that's right.
We gotta give you the
Unbelievable,
seatbelt
man.
ticket.
I got pulled over because I drove over a straight line that wasn't a dotted line, right? So they pulled me
Yeah.
over to give me a warning. Meanwhile, dudes under the filthy comforter at the playground smoking crack in front of children. No problems. Carry on, folks.
I mean, you're the real
Unbelievable.
menace.
Right?
Do you know how dangerous it was what you did?
Well, dude, and who was it? According to Ilhan Omar, guys like me are the greatest danger in America. White dudes, man. So
We're the greatest threat.
that's right, man.
What have we ever done? That was good, you know?
Right. Yeah, we've invented nothing. We do nothing for this country. So yeah, you can't shoot fireworks, but you could smoke crack and do fentanyl. Good times.
For
That's the
your
Denver
safety.
way. Yeah, man.
It's the
And
Democrat way. We're the same way here.
oh, I know. And if you're pregnant, come on over. We'll abort that fetus for you. No problem.
right.
we love killing those kids. Yeah.
That's for America. Dude, I went to the Morton Arboretum yesterday. Yesterday.
All right.
Never been there before. You ever been there?
I have not. No.
It's how rich white people spend a day in the park.
What's going on in this place?
It's just like crazy nice trees and plants, and they got like a maze, and you just
All
walk
right.
around this park. There's like ponds, super clean.
Not the botanical garden?
Similar.
I love the Chicago Botanical Gardens, one of the greatest places.
Yeah, this is similar. We're like way more open. They got trails and everything you could walk.
All right, nice.
But really funny is they have just like these teams of like retired people.
Yeah.
And it's like the most perfect job for the retired people because they just like sit there and they guide you on where to go and yell at you if you're smoking cigarettes.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy. You cannot vape, you cannot smoke cigarettes, but they have a guy riding a bike that's a mobile tap.
Like beer? You get
Beer
some
on
beer on
tap,
tap?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally, yeah.
All right, man. Nice.
It's It's so like rich white people, you know.
Yeah, that reminds me of when we were in Florida and we were just chilling on the water, and Tony was like, "Oh, I always wanted to just have like a bar, but on a boat, and you just kind of
Oh
cruise up." And
yeah,
then we're chilling there, and a bar on a boat just started cruising up towards us.
yeah,
Remember
like a
that, man?
tiki bar. It
Yes,
was like a
dude.
tiki bar on a
Yeah.
boat.
I love the mobile bars there. You see it on the golf courses. I'm not sure. I don't think you're a big golfer these days, but
That's what it reminded me of. It was essentially like a golf course minus the golf where you like take the wife and walk around
nice. All
with the
right.
kids, you know.
No vaping though? They bust you for vaping?
Busty for the vaping. No vaping, no smoking.
Smoking I get, because you get the butts littered everywhere and it gets really
Yeah.
gross pretty quickly. And then if you just ban all smoking, you've now created a scenario where nobody can set up a shop with their filthy comforter and start freebasing fentanyl in the park in front of
Right.
everybody, right? Like what we'd love to
Right.
do here in Denver. We love setting up our disgusting comforter, our soiled mattress and comforter, and we're gonna freebase drugs in front of all the children here.
Right, that's the public park. This is the
Right.
private park. You pay to get in. Dude, it was so clean.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because all the they got like labels and everything for all the bushes,
All right,
all
nice.
the plants.
Yeah, it's
Pretty cool.
amazing
Pretty
how nice
cool.
life can be when you have things taken care of, and people
Dude, that's all
respect
we
it.
kept talking about was like how amazing it was, and like you can never have it closer to the city.
Yes.
It was just it's perfect because it's far away. It's a little bit it's a little bit expensive to get in, but that keeps the riffraff out.
Yeah, totally. No, that's it is amazing what you can have when you you get your taxes going to where it needs to go and people respect it. That's what you need, the community itself to respect whatever you have
Yes.
there. Once the respect is lost, then you have the destruction of the property. And, in a lot of the major cities, I mean, Denver is just, we have this bridge to nowhere. Do you know about this bridge to
Yeah,
nowhere
you
I
talked
brought
about
up?
it, the
And
pedestrian.
yeah, dude. Well, so apparently, one not he's not the architect, but there's a guy that Jared Polis got to be a public face for backing this whole thing up, and it's a black dude in a wheelchair. And the guy went on Channel 9 News recently this week, and he said, "I don't want people to misunderstand this. I have nothing to do with this project. I think it's a waste of money." And
No,
Jared Pohl used me as a publicity stunt because he wanted people to see a black man in a wheelchair
no
promoting this.
way.
Yes, and he goes,
No.
in no means do I or my organization support this bridge to nowhere. He goes, it's not even good for handicapped people because it's like winding and it goes to nowhere. It
It's
goes
a bridge
nowhere.
to nowhere.
It's a bridge to nowhere. Handicapped people don't want to take a bridge to nowhere. So, he's out there now like doing damage control, and he goes, this guy ruined my life. This guy Jared Polis, he used
Oh, that's
me
so
to be the face of
terrible.
this horrible project that's going to be that
Ah.
nobody wants it. It's going to be a huge waste of money. And
And Jared was there with his boyfriend at all these get-togethers with the elite. Like, oh, did
yes,
you see how I helped that poor black man in the wheelchair?
yeah, man,
We got
he
his
loved it.
initiative off the ground.
Dude, Jared Polis. Let's see here.
That's terrible, man.
Nothing's more terrible, I would say, than Jared Polis and his husband's birthday. Let me see here if I can even find it. Oh yeah. So I love the internet because Jared Polis posted a picture for his husband's birthday, and the first gentleman of
Mm.
Colorado. And already I can't find the original because the internet has photoshopped Jared into wearing into wearing a wedding dress. But what I can't get over is these dudes are multimillionaires. What's with the ill-fitting suit?
Good call.
I mean, this guy's the first husband, or whatever, the first gentleman. Jared Polis, his parents are millionaires and very famous, well-to-do people, and then he himself made hundreds of millions of dollars on during the .com boom in the late 90s, early 2000s.
He's a young lad there on the left.
Yeah, man.
Jared went after a youngin', huh?
That's right, man. He's robbing the cradle. Yeah.
Groomer territory, man.
That's
Jesus.
right. Jared knows how to play it, man. Yeah. Took a page out of the Brigitte Macron playbook.
Quite the young lad, you know?
Yeah, but I just can't get it out of my head that these guys are filthy rich. It's the governor and his husband of Colorado. Can't get a nice suit?
Better suit, yeah.
Should have that's a suit that
Better
I would
fitting.
It just looks like something I would have wore to like my communion or something, or like a wedding when I was like 8 years old, wearing
Got it
a
off the rack
hand-me-down
at
suit.
Burlington Coat Factory.
Yeah, dude, exactly, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You could do better.
Jared, you could do better. Treat your husband to a nice suit, my man. Come on. That's all I'm saying.
Is the husband rich too, or no? He's just
No, he's really into animal preservation and introducing wild wolves into our front range. That's his whole thing. He's really into the wolves.
loves the wolves.
Loves the wolves, dude.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh man, well, Mike, I can't believe I'm saying this. There's no doubt about it. It's the fastest hour in the universe. Did we even get to anything that we wanted to talk about? Did we scratch anything on the docket? We scratched the surface.
We gotta talk about bike lanes when we come back.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Did I tell
All
the story
right.
about the bike lanes or no?
There's always room for more bike lane stories. I'm sure I could pull a couple out just from this weekend.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I want to thank everybody for hanging out, enjoying the good times. Great oldies. We will be back after this short intermission from DJ Rodfather himself. I think he's been jamming the 80s. Oh, all right.
For the comeback.
The comeback kids. All right, man. Yeah. We'll be back.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Today was gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there were winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my I said maybe you're gonna
Taking it back in time, man. All right.
Oh yeah.
Oasis. Yeah. Well,
Can't believe people were waiting for them to come back. That's
it
I
was a
didn't think they
big
were
deal.
that big.
Well, they were huge back then, and then they had like a spectacular falling out, and they're brothers, and they feuded over like via the media and all this stuff, and didn't speak to each other for years. And I think they're a huge deal in the UK. Maybe not as much here in America, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
The UK folks out there, they seem very excited about it. And honestly, you know what it is? They had that concert, plus they had Black Sabbath, and this was the weekend that we were celebrating America, and it's the celebration of us kicking their ass 250 years ago. So I think maybe
Right.
they needed something to feel good about themselves. So they
Good call.
got really excited about Oasis while we were, signing big, beautiful bills and, doing all this other crap.
Good
Yeah,
times,
man.
great
Yeah.
oldies.
That's right, man. So it's been a busy week, though. And I've noticed there's this trend happening this year specifically. And we're like 6, 7 months in, so we got kind of a nice track record to go off of. I noticed Democrats horrible timing with all their political stunts this year. I don't everything every time
Yeah.
they go for something ridiculous. that one
The
Jose
Booker dude. Oh, yeah.
Jose Cuervo guy, he tried to bum rush Pam Bondi on the stage, and
Frank Padilla. Say
yeah,
his
what I
name,
call him,
Padilla.
right? And then they start World War III like 28 hours later, and then Cory Booker broke some record that nobody cared about,
Nobody.
He's
He's talked for 24 hours for no reason.
yes,
Nobody cared.
and then Hakeem Jeffries decided last week to break a record nobody's ever heard of before, and he spoke for like 8 hours straight. Did you see this at all? It was
I saw, some clips of it. It was
Nobody-
so stupid.
because 4 hours later, P Diddy was cleared of all charges, and that's all anybody talked about, man. It's so unbelievable, dude.
They're getting Carmelo Anthony all over the place. You know?
Oh man, did you see anything about the Hakeem Jeffries spectacle though? I really am enjoying this new thing that they're into. They're breaking these records that nobody knew existed and nobody really cares about at all, and
They're accomplishing nothing.
well, yes, that's
Most importantly, they're accomplishing nothing.
just like Cory Booker when he finished his speech, he was like dazed and exhausted. And this one with Hakeem Jeffries, all of these moments too. Somehow Maxine Waters ends up right next to them.
I
She's
know, right?
always right
Yeah,
there. She's like,
dude.
yeah. She's like cheering them on, like, come on. She's all into it. And then Donna Brazil shows up with some gumbo that she just made for him. We're gonna have some gumbo. Like they get really excited about this record of some sort that nobody really cares about. And again, the exhaustion and Hakeem Jeffries, it looked like Rocky 4 after he beats the Russian and he collapses into the arms of his team, and the coach, and he's just, and he's dazed. He doesn't know where he is. They got to cut open his eye so he can see, that's what they pretend like it's this great feat that we should all be incredibly impressed by, talking for 8 hours. Alex Jones does it every day on his podcast show. He just talks nonstop for 8 hours.
Plus, you just did your job for 8 hours. Go
Yes,
plumb for 8 hours. That's way more impressive than just standing there talking.
dude, it's just so funny to me that they,
You know?
again, I can't get over this whole oh, he broke a record. What record, man? Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. What
This-
did it accomplish?
Well, and this is what Mike, didn't you feel better today knowing Cory Booker or Hakeem. I always confuse the two. By
It
the
doesn't
way.
even matter. They confuse each other.
I mean, my life feels so much more complete knowing that Hakeem Jeffries spoke for 8.5 hours straight, no bathroom break, right? Like, America feels better, right? We've fixed all our problems.
Yeah. Maybe you got to be a member of the community of color.
Is that it? Is that what they're...
That's why we don't. That's why we don't feel it.
Right. Yeah.
What he did, I'm sure, really helped the communities of color.
So I think he did it to try and hold up the passing of the big, beautiful bill, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the whole thing. But he didn't go... I'm filibustering. I don't know what the rules are, but there was a quote of his going around where he was calling the filibuster a racist ploy from the Jim Crow era, and then he went and did an 8-hour filibuster himself. Like, these guys. You know, when you have no foundation to stand on, you look like a fool in the end.
Dude, did you listen to that Zohan Manjari, whatever that guy?
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. I did, yeah.
I mean, in the beginning, when they said, like, very first question, she goes, "Why do you think you won?" And he says, "Everybody else gave them something to vote against. I'm the only one that gave them something to vote for."
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's why he won, man. The guy, everybody else is out there just talking about how bad Trump is. This guy's like, hey, this is what I'm going to do for the city. I don't know. Voting for a guy with a plan is always better than a guy with no plan.
You're psycho, bro. That's why the Hakeem Jeffries thing really cracks me up, which is you morons have nothing. You have no idea. You're not bringing forth an idea of any type.
Anytime. No, a better plan.
Just anything. There's no idea coming out of your side. You're just constantly bashing Trump and saying how we're anti-Trump, anti-fascist, we're fighting the oligarchy, whatever that means now.
You are the oligarchy.
I know, that's you have all these catchphrases and you're doing the quirky Instagram, TikTok videos with the extreme close-ups of Cory Booker's face, and you have Chuck Schumer talking into the tiny little microphone. Like, you're doing this whole thing, but at no point are you saying, like, we have this idea to make the country better. This is what we're going to do.
To make your life better.
Nothing. There's no idea. And they know that they have no idea. That's why I think they send out Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker to sit on the stoops of the Capitol for 8 hours straight and sing Kumbaya with a bunch of trainees.
I forgot they did that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
dude, that's so funny.
When you have no idea to put forward, you do these ridiculous schemes and acts and put on these shows and performances that are meritless and meaningless. But you have nothing to push forward as an idea. So, well, I'm going to do this nonsensical thing for 10 hours straight. And then we're all going to celebrate how I broke some record nobody has ever even heard
Nobody
of.
cares about. In the meantime, we're still taxing your overtime. Like, right now, you should be dissecting the bill, being like, coming up with a plan on how you're going to actually stop taxing the overtime. You're going to actually get rid of the tax on tips. You know what I mean?
This Zorhan Mamdani guy who is looking like he's going to be the mayor of New York. It's pretty much a given. I found the interview to be super interesting because I'm going to give a little credit to NPR and the interviewer. She kept pushing him on the same question, and he was dancing around it and never actually fully answering it, which is, how are you going to pay for all these freebies you insist you're going to give everybody in New York? Yeah. And his idea for the free buses and the free, there were a couple other free things that he's really into. Not healthcare, but
the grocery stores.
There's something with food. He's giving away all this free shit. He's going to say it's going to be pizza every day, and nobody has to pay for their lunch anymore, and we're all getting free rides on the school bus, right? That's his whole thing. And the NPR lady's just like, you keep saying you're going to give all this free shit to everybody, but how are you going to pay for it? And a lot of the stuff you can't do without the governor and the governorship agreeing with it in state legislature. And he just kept dancing on it and saying, like, well, I'm speaking for the people. And I noticed what he loves is he loves to appreciate. I don't know if you noticed this about the
I
interview.
appreciate yeah.
He appreciates Governor Huckle, spending time with him. He appreciates the conversations he's had with the current mayor, Adams. He appreciates the people who work on his team so much so, Mike, that he was mentioning an appreciation meeting he does weekly with his team. He does an appreciation
I didn't
meeting.
even catch that.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
so funny.
He's always appreciating
very
everybody.
appreciative.
He's very
Yeah.
appreciative of everything that everyone is doing. And I don't know. The further they went on in the interview, he never actually gave a substantial idea as to how he's going to pay for everything. It's just, no, man, everybody wants free stuff. I'm going to give it to them. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to tax the rich, man.
I'm gonna tax the rich.
I'm just going to tax the rich. And this dude's no different than anyone else in the Democratic Party.
I've got a feeling.
It's all about a feeling.
Yeah, man.
I know.
That's just, he's running on a feeling, bro. And she kind of hits him on the socialist title that he carries and the fact that he's a very proud Muslim democratic socialist and that he's from Uganda. So did you know he applied in college as Black American?
I did see that.
Or African American.
And I'm pretty consistent with my opinion on this. We don't know where to draw the line.
Exactly.
So I couldn't even argue. I could argue either way for him. You know?
Yeah. He just cracks me up because he's running on a feeling. He's all about giving all the free stuff to the poor and stealing from the rich. And it's just a lot of just bullshit promises, empty promises. That's Joe Biden. That's Kamala Harris. You guys just tried this with Kamala Harris and you lost miserably. Empty promises and a person who's culturally and ethnically ambiguous. So you're like, no, she's black, right? You're black. See, look at all the black people who vote for her.
All the black people vote. Yeah.
Mamdani, he's black. He's a black Ugandan man. Come on,
Yeah.
come on, get all the brothers to vote for Mamdani. You know,
What's that? No, you can't say the N word. We haven't tested it yet. Don't push your luck.
So they're just doubling down on the Kamala Harris theory, which is we're going to get this ethnically ambiguous person. We're going to give them a claim to Black heritage so we can bring back all the minorities, and we're going to promise free stuff for the poor. We're going to steal from the rich to pay for it. Same thing, round and round and round and round. I mean, it's just, I don't know. He was cracking me up in the interview because genuinely being asked, dude, you're making a lot of crazy promises. How are you going to pay for it? And he's like, baby,
I've got a feeling.
yeah, we're feeling good, man.
Oh, yeah.
This is what the people want. Yeah, of course it's what the people want.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you go around and you ask 100 people, do you want free buses? They're going to be like, yeah, I want a free bus. Do you want to pay for it? No. Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You got to ask that second question.
Yes. I don't know. It's just it's a funny idea. It doesn't work. And if you tell all the rich people, by the way, everybody above this marker, we're going to start taxing you double what we're taxing everybody else. The rich people are going to leave. They're going to do what they did in 2020.
Yeah.
They're going to go to Florida or Texas. They're going to go to places where they don't have to pay income tax, and you're going to lose all that extra revenue you already had. It's insane.
Plus, I was told rich people don't pay any taxes.
Right. Yes.
So I'm no mathematician, but if you double the taxes and it's zero, double of zero is zero.
Right. Yes.
I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh man. So yeah, this guy, he's gonna be the mayor there in New York.
He's gonna win.
Did
You
I-
heard him talking, man. Those people are they eat that shit up.
Yes, and isn't that part of a theoretical element of politics where democracy is essentially over when candidates are winning based on their promises of free stuff, and basically you're buying your votes essentially, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's
Basically, and
whoever
ultimately,
promises more.
yeah, the populace is going to vote for the guy who's promising free money and free buses and free everything. So we're there. Now we're there.
That's
I
why
think-
your taxes never go down. 'Cause they
right.
keep promising more and doing more.
Just the promising of free stuff from the government. whatever it is that's free from the government, it's gonna be crap. Like, it's
I
gonna be the
know.
worst shit you've ever had in your life, whatever it is, the grocery store, the bus, everything the government runs is
Crap.
total crap, man, except for chemtrails. They're on fire with the
Very
chemtrails, like,
good.
when it comes
Yes.
to geoengineering and weather modification, they have perfected this science, my man, it's an art form.
No, dude, have you been I've been bombarded with these videos of like these fat these fat urban people at the grocery store
Just
buying shit with
fisticuffs
their
and oh, dude,
with
me
their fucking food stamps,
Yeah.
and it's like $400, $500, and there you go. Look how fat they are.
Man,
Every
you're
single one of them. They're fat, their kids are fat, and
I
the
see your
cart's
point.
filled with like high sugar shit. It's crazy.
I think you and I are tracking on the same algorithm of some sort because,
Look at that. You go spend $1,000. Where the fuck you get $1,000?
So YouTube, this your
Food
girl
stamps.
Quay, and yes, we at Sam's doing the shopping haul. So y'all come along with us, and let's get some stuff out of Sam's. I'm really just gonna be a very short video, just a little tic tac, boom bam. You feel me? But yeah, y'all, let's get out of there.
we also have a problem with reading, if I'm not mistaken, in this country. If I recall, a lot of the urban places here, we're kind of in the lower percentiles of reading ability. And wow, yeah, she's a large woman. And did you watch this one, or did you see some of the others where?
No, I'm just
Got
getting
some animal crackers
bombarded with them.
for $8.98. So we just gonna
I'm
grab
seeing
one
like
of these.
different
So,
ones
yeah,
every day.
My kids like Nutri-Grain bars, so we.
Why are they filming it?
I don't know. It's really
They're
gross.
bragging about it, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because at the end they're like, and I don't care if your taxes pay for it.
Right.
Like, go fuck yourself, bitch.
But they're just buying junk. Like, look at the stuff in this cart that she's got. Like,
Oh,
blow pops. Yeah, you got. Oh, look at
100 blow pops.
Mike. She's got the 40-pack classic mix. You got the Oreo minis with the Chips Ahoy and the Nutter Butters and the Ritz Bits. Yeah, man, loading
Look
it
at
up,
that.
dude. The little bites, the Pop Tarts. Yeah, man.
Terrible.
She hasn't even gotten to the Hot Pocket
The
section
honey
yet, dude.
buns.
The honey
Look at this.
buns,
Oh my god. Get
powdered
outta here.
donuts, multiple packs of powdered donuts, animal crackers because you gotta get your veggies in there. We're doing cinnamon toast crunch, the mega box for $7.98. Yeah, man.
The mega box.
Holy cow,
You
dude.
shouldn't eat anything in that cart.
It's pretty crazy that these people
Terrible.
are, filming themselves but look at all this crap, dude.
Oh, Velveeta. And look at, I mean, just look how unhealthy her and her family look.
That's what was really kind of getting me was the lady, and I think
Look how puffy that hand is.
she's a bloated individual. There's a lot of inflammation going on in that scene there. Yeah, man. So that's food stamps. I've been living in the dark on this one. I'm simply not getting enough freebies from the government. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I have
No.
not investigated this enough, but I had no idea that you could go to Sam's Club or Costco and buy the gigundo size of everything, and it's all paid for by the government. Are you kidding me, man?
$1,000.
And you saw how large that lady is. She's probably on government subsidized healthcare. She's just gonna pump herself up with the
Guarantee it.
Ozempic when she's ready to lose some weight and fix her diabetes
Guarantee it.
from all the Velveeta that she's eating and all that stuff. So yeah, and that's one of many. You're right.
Yeah.
It was in my feed as well. I saw just multiple videos of excessively obese human beings just buying thousands of dollars worth of food at these mega stores. And it's not even food that they're buying. That's what really disgusts
That's the
me, actually.
grossest
Like,
shit.
you don't see any video of a person going through and buying like lettuce heads and carrots,
Right.
some
Right.
celery and oranges and apples, bag of apples, right? You're getting none of that, man. No, they're buying the Velveeta mac and cheese and the Pop Tarts and the Chips
It's
Ahoy,
all
dude.
shit in cardboard. Like, you shouldn't be eating everything out of cardboard,
So
That's gross.
how could
They're-
people be outraged with RFK and what he's trying to do with the Maha movement and trying to get people off of buying crap with the food stamps? Hey, no big deal if you need food stamps. You know what? The government should be there to help provide families who are struggling to put food on the table, but it should be food. It shouldn't be Chips Ahoy and all this other crap. No
it's not,
Mountain Dew or
yes.
anything like that. Emma was showing me these Takis. Do you know the Takis?
The chips, right?
We saw someone eating them, and it was like, it was a color of red I didn't know existed in the spectrum of colors. It was like a bright
Only
atomic.
in the oil industry.
Oh my god! Yeah, you only get it from petroleum, dude. And I was just flabbergasted and beside myself. And Emma said, "Do you think that's bad? Look at the blue ones. They make these blue Takis, which is, I don't know how you get that type of color, honestly." And
aren't they like spicy?
Yeah, I've tasted a Taki once in my life, but they have these blue Takis, which just scream poison to me. Like, I see the blue Takis and I think, this is what they give to kill people. Look at these things, man.
That's no way it really looks like that, though.
She claims that's what they look like. She's seen them. Blue Takis, man.
Damn.
So, pretty disgusting. But apparently that's what these people are buying with these food stamps. You shouldn't be able to do that. You should have to buy milk, eggs, cheese, perishable stuff. That's what you should be able to purchase with your food stamps, man. Unbelievable.
And really, do you know why they're all upset? Is because now there's a 20-hour work requirement.
Wow. So you have to
you have to just go, if you're able-bodied, you have to go to work for 20 hours a week.
No! So you have to produce a little bit in society. You know, give a little into the system before you take
20
out.
hours is nothing. 20 hours.
Yeah, they're outraged.
They're outraged.
Of course, dude.
Now give me enough money to feed my 6 kids.
Trump's just not doing this right. We figured this out a while ago. What Trump needs to do is come out and support food stamps.
Good call.
And then the left, oh man, they're going to tear up food stamps. They're going to have like giant fires in the middle of Comiskey Park where they're burning food stamps and, and throwing in effigies of Trump and Elon Musk and RFK, right? That's what you got to do. Trump needs to support these things. Then the people will be against him.
Everybody, you're right. We're going to raise taxes. We're going to raise income tax 1%.
Yes.
So that we could give food stamps to the dude, everybody would be pissed.
Can you imagine the outrage, man? Come on. Yeah.
They would get rid of that program so fast.
We figured it out, man. We know what's going on here. They will just do the opposite of Trump. So he's got to support the food stamps. Then they'll be against it. Trump's got to come out there and say, I love fluoride. We're going to start pumping more fluoride into the water. And then they're going to go all against fluoride in the water. Trump's got to come out and say, I love chemtrails. We're going to start spraying chemtrails every day, everywhere. Yes. And you're going to get everybody marching against. You're going to see no kings, no chemtrails on the signs next time.
Dude, there would be a fucking court stopping him so fast.
A federal judge, an Obama-appointed judge, right?
No. Ground those planes.
Yeah, dude. We should have seen this coming years ago. What was the time frame? It was like November to January. There's a clip of Kamala Harris and all these other politicians who are like, no, I would never touch the Trump vaccine. Operation Warp Speed, nobody should trust that. And then Joe Biden's president in January, and they're like, we're mandating. Yeah, that's right. Well, all the same vaccine, don't touch it because Trump made it. But now that we're in power, we're forcing you to take it. And if you don't take it, you're the villain of this country, right? You're a plague rat.
Might give you myocarditis.
It's slight myocarditis, my man.
Don't worry about it.
Vaccine information keeps trickling out there, and the further we get, the more and more you sense that people want us to forget what took place 5 years ago with the shutdowns or the lockdown. It wasn't a lockdown, right? It was a slowdown, a shutdown, a partial down.
Closed everything down.
It closed down, right?
There was no lock.
We were locking anything. So it's easy. I think people want us to forget about it, but as we drift further away, slowly but surely, a lot of information is coming out about the effects of the vaccines, the negative effects of the shutdowns on the development of kids and the youth, and the depression rates and all that stuff. And then also, we're still finding out about where the virus came from and the originating place that this thing was developed. And
Not China.
dude, I've been
So
saying
funny.
it. I've been saying it from day one. I believe this sucker was made in the United States. And we got Judge Andrew Napolitano with Jeffrey Sachs on here. And Jeffrey Sachs is gonna kind of let out a little tidbit about where he believes or understands that the virus actually originated.
COVID was caused by a virus that from the very beginning had telltale signs that it was made in a laboratory.
Right.
And I've studied this very intensively over the last 4 years because I chaired a global commission about these issues. The CIA finally said what is true, which is that this virus came out of a lab. What they didn't tell you, and what's quite important, is that it almost surely was made in a U.S. laboratory.
Oh. Excuse me?
Not in a Chinese laboratory. It may have been tested in a Chinese laboratory, but it was made in a U.S. laboratory, probably in the University of North Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, he knows exactly where this thing was made, man.
Come on, you know where it was.
I've been saying Dietrich because a lot of shit comes out of Dietrich. They've admitted in the last few years that Lyme disease definitely leaked out of Fort Detrick.
Yeah.
So, remember, how long? Was it 10 years that they're like, oh, you got to protect from ticks because that's where you get the Lyme disease? They just created... They leaked this shit from labs, and they're like, oh, a bat had sex with a pangolin in a wet market in China. You're like, oh, okay. Remember AIDS? Like, a guy had sex with a monkey in a jungle in Africa, and all of a sudden we all have AIDS now.
Where do they say Lyme disease came from?
They claim it's ticks.
No, but like, what was the myth? Or did they just always admit it came from the lab?
I think they just always said it was a natural tick thing. Lyme disease. Let's see here.
That's a weird one. But that is provable that it came from Fort Detrick.
All right. Lyme disease first recognized in 1975 after researchers investigated why unusually large numbers of children were being diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in Lyme, Connecticut, and 2 neighboring towns. The researchers discovered that most of the affected children lived and played near wooded areas where ticks live. All right. Also found that the children's first symptoms typically started in the summer months, in the height of tick season, but they're not really saying. Let's see here. Full syndrome, now known as Lyme disease, was not recognized until a cluster of cases, originally thought to be this arthritis, was identified in 75. Yeah, they're not really saying.
I wonder if it was like something that existed, but it wasn't that bad, and then they made it worse.
You mean like they took the tick or the Lyme disease itself in and
made it worse,
kind of boosted it,
function.
if you will. Yeah. Gain of function, man. Yeah. They're saying they have evidence of Lyme disease from a 5,300-year-old mummy found in the Eastern Alps.
Oh, never mind.
So, but I wouldn't put it past Tony Fauci and these creeps at NIH and NIAID to take like an old disease they found on a mummy and like boost it up and pump it up, like let's see what happens when we introduce this element into it and this DNA, and all of a sudden you got Lyme disease, right? Yeah.
And now it's that weird one where like you can't eat meat.
So that is one that a lot of people believe Bill Gates has unleashed on everybody to stop people from eating meat. And the meat virus one, this is a straight up gain of function. We want to stop people from consuming meat. We want you eating bugs. Nobody's listening to us. So we're going to force your hand by spreading this disease that makes you allergic to meat.
Oh, it's crazy. Because that Harvard study came out where like the carnivore diet's the best diet in the world.
Dude, who needs Harvard when you have Lizzo walking around out there looking fabulous and talking about how she did it by eating cheeseburgers and steaks, man? Yeah.
And look how good Jordan Peterson looks.
Right. Good call.
This is the strongest Canadian I've ever seen.
And you know what? It is the 4th of July. We're all out there grilling, eating meats, just like good patriotic Americans, just like former human being Chuck Schumer, eating cheeseburgers like all other human beings do.
On a cold grill.
Fucking lizard, man.
That's one of the funniest. Yeah, the cheese on it. Cold grill. Not even lit.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Lyme disease, pretty nuts stuff. But yeah, out of Fort Detrick, it's pretty well established at this point, I would say. They could create this whole bogus history and throw it on Wikipedia, which is run by the CIA, but ultimately, I think we know what happened here. Fauci created it. It came out of Detrick, and that's why we have Lyme disease.
Oh, I thought you were talking about COVID. Well, same.
And COVID. Oh yeah, what? Same with AIDS. It's the same process.
You should just say fill in the blank. That's why we have fill in the blank. Bird flu.
Everything, every disease that we see floating around out there, it follows the same trajectory. It pops up, people get sick. They claim the pangolin in the bed or some tick in Maryland. You know, it's always the dude banging the monkey. Like, it's always something weird like that. But really, it's just a petri dish in the laboratory with Tony Fauci. And that's eventually just...
And then he makes a killing on the vaccine.
Yes, man. Every time,
Best
right?
part.
That is the best part. And then, you know what, this reminds me, I think we may have played this clip at some point, potentially, but it popped up back up, and we are discussing it for the most part, with this disease that's going around making people allergic to meat, which I think is also tick-based.
It's like a special version of the Lyme disease.
Right. It's
something like that.
It's Lyme 2.0. That's
2.0.
Fauci's been awfully quiet lately, and you know what? He hasn't thrown out an opening day first pitch in so long.
Right.
You know, he's just dying for that limelight. So he's gonna push out this new Lyme disease.
Waiting to be called back in. not by Rand Paul.
Right. We were talking about it the other day that they called all the chickens because of bird flu, and now they're going to release these new chickens who are pumped up with this new mRNA vaccine. And I was floating out there that it was from Bill Gates, and then I found, God, this guy's such a lizard, man. It's Rango, dude.
Jesus Christ, dude, he's not even hiding it at this point.
Dude.
Holy cow.
His original human suit is in the shop currently, so he had to pull out the old reserve, the old Bill Gates suit.
He's looking like a lizard. I'm just waiting for that tongue to shoot out.
You're psycho, yeah. That's
Come on.
So we weren't far off with our theorizing about Bill Gates and company pumping up the chickens with an mRNA vaccine to fight the bird flu and to get us all jacked up on their new technology. Here he is talking about meat.
Well, the Gates Foundation has partnered with IFID on a great number of things, and among those are work we do together on livestock, helping animals survive either by having vaccines or better genetics, helping them be more productive. It's making a big difference. I was down in Ethiopia seeing how chickens are out there laying more eggs, getting more nutrition, and even some small savings into the household. So Edinburgh happens to be where a lot of the world's best work on this is done, and that's why DFID and the Gates Foundation.
Did you see that, like, scientist just mixed? This shouldn't be going on with your meat, man.
These animals are fine. They don't need this.
No, dude.
They don't need this. They were fine before.
I don't want this human being anywhere near any meat that I'm consuming. No. Get this creature out of here, dude.
Did you hear what he's saying? How they like produce more and everything? Like, that can't be good.
No, definitely not.
Give me normal production is fine.
I don't want any Bill Gates genetics involved in any of the meat I'm consuming. Just get this out of here, man.
Not in the eggs.
Oh, this guy's a creature.
And that's why DFID and the Gates Foundation are funding scientists here.
Yeah, and did you notice? UK aid, man, not US aid.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, dude. There's always another aid.
It's always the people that like you never want to look like that are telling you how to eat, like what you should be eating, what you should be injecting into your body.
Dude, COVID was the red pill for me with that. The most unhealthy looking people on the planet were telling me what I should do to be healthy. And I was like, I don't know if I trust you right now. And in the meantime, the MMA fighter who trains weekly, Joe Rogan, they're calling him a nut job and saying that he's an unhealthy person you shouldn't be paying attention to. So, and
no, not just him. Everybody who recommended exercise, sunlight, fresh air.
Like Jordan Peterson, Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, doctors and scientists and people who worked on these vaccines, very healthy looking guys.
Very
RFK
healthy,
Jr. I mean,
very healthy.
We could all be so lucky to look like RFK in our 70s.
I know.
The guy looks so healthy, so incredible. And this attempt by legacy media to make him seem insane for trying to push healthy living on people. I mean, like the guy looks healthy. He's a great example for it.
Flashback 7 months ago, you had a dude dressed as a woman trying to tell us how to be healthy. And it was this fat dude. You know what I mean? We forget how far crazy we went.
Biden's administration might be the craziest administration we've ever witnessed, dude.
What was it? Rachel Levine.
I saw a picture the other day. It was some gala, some like fancy dinner they had going on, and sitting with like Kamala and some other people was the bald dude with the red lipstick and the dress and the mustache.
No, the guy that was stealing luggage. Come on.
He was barely there. Like, he was around for maybe 4 months, but he was so insane. Like, he was over the top insane.
Yeah, insane.
Bald with the fat mustache and the lipstick and the dresses and stealing women's clothing from the airport. I mean, but that's how crazy this administration was, man. Like, that was
unbelievable. Rachel Levine would waddle his fat ass out there in makeup and a skirt and tell you how to be healthy. That was insane, dude. That was insane.
Oh yeah, here they are. Oh my god. That is I found the winner here. The two of them together. Wow, we have already made America great again. Now that I just look at these two weirdos here.
Oh, it's so much better already. Look at that. Admiral Levine.
Having a hard time with the
fuck
picture.
out of here.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy, dude.
Holy cow, man. It's two
that
dudes.
Dude was telling you how to be healthy. Come on.
But RFK's the crazy one, right? He's got a worm in his brain, Mike. Come on.
Yeah. God bless America. Thank you, Trump.
That's why this is a great country, though. We can sink that low, but then come right back in about 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
One election.
Yes, dude.
We're always one election away.
It only took some divine providence of God reaching down and stopping 8 bullets from exploding Trump's brain on national television. Which we are.
Thank you.
We're almost at the year anniversary of that. I think it's next week, actually, which is kind of crazy.
How could you be a year out from something that never happened?
Wow. Mind blown, dude. People still believe that was staged on some level, if I'm not mistaken. They think that Trump staged it, right?
It gets weirder and weirder when you dive into the shooter.
Dude, the Thomas Crooks fella? Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
We don't know a lot about him. That's what's so weird about it.
He was a patsy for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And it was admitted this week, speaking of patsies, that there was a CIA agent in direct contact with Oswald prior to the Kennedy shooting.
Wow.
So they're finally admitting, and you don't need the admission right now. There's several books out there that describe in fantastic detail kind of the spider web of connections leading Oswald to George Herbert Walker Bush and the CIA. There are a lot of intermediary players that were in connection with Oswald those 2 years where he seemingly went berserk and moved to Russia, got married, came back, became an avid communist sympathizer, which is totally insane. The guy was clearly under some sort of control via the CIA at that time. The early 60s, the CIA was getting really into the mind control MK Ultra stuff. And then they really
Yeah.
perfected it late 60s around the time of the Manson murders and the hippie movement. I mean, I think it's obvious at this point the whole hippie movement was a psyop. It was the CIA literally created the hippie movement. It's crazy.
You think they just had to give him a lot of LSD?
Yeah, I think it's
That's all
absolutely
it was, right?
Absolutely, man. The LSD, they set
Put
up a
them
shop at
thoughts in the
Haight
head.
Ashbury and they just flooded the zone with these psychedelic drugs. And I, I love the Grateful Dead, but I can't help but kind of feel like the Grateful Dead were maybe not to their knowledge, but they were working with the CIA back in that late 60s era at Haight and Ashbury, and they were part of the acid trip parties and tests. I mean, the Dead was there with Ken Kesey, and Ken Kesey was working with the CIA. So there's got to be a connection there.
Hmm.
Throwing it out there. CIA created it all, right?
For sure.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna give that.
Oh man, I think you just froze up on me. Actually, yeah. There you are. Are you back? Are you
Am I
gone?
back?
Are you here?
We're here.
You're
Still
not moving.
Still frozen.
You know what happened is we played a Bill Gates clip. We haven't done Bill Gates in a long time. Finally drop a Bill Gates clip where he's talking about throwing the mRNA stuff into the beef, and here we are. Mike gets cut off and frozen up. I blame Bill Gates ultimately.
Bill Gates.
It's
You know,
always every time we
no
bring up
sense of humor. Yeah.
I know, that's right. Well, we made fun of his shitty human suit that he was wearing, so I think these lizards, these reptilians are sensitive creatures, my man.
Look in the mirror, Bill. You'll know. I mean, come on.
So, speaking of alien creatures, there was allegedly a lot of talk this week about a meeting that went down in the White House with Trump. And apparently, that David Grush character who's always out there talking about UFOs and stuff, he and some other high level ranking individuals within the disclosure movement and people who are in the know with the alien presence on Earth, I guess, gave Trump a very detailed lowdown on the 4 types of known alien entities living here on this planet. And
Wow.
apparently Trump now he's fully educated on what's going on with us in reverse engineering alien tech and our communications with aliens currently. Allegedly, Trump is very aware that we are in very close contact with the Nordic whites that we've discussed in the past. And the Nordic whites are allegedly like a few hundred years more advanced than us. Whereas the grays, the tiny little gray alien guys, are like thousands of years more advanced. And then you got the reptilians, and there's these like insectoid like aliens, allegedly. And so Trump is now apparently in the know.
He met with the actual whites.
I don't know if Trump has met any of these
And the
people.
grays.
I think he was just read in on some classified information as far as who's in communication with these guys, who are good versus, or maybe, we don't know who's good and bad, but some are a little more nefarious than others, whereas the Nordics seem to be working with us on some level. But allegedly, some of the info that was released or made known to Trump, the Nordics are interbreeding with humans and have been for quite some time. So we have human Nordic white alien hybrids roaming around. And this is probably very upsetting for a lot of the reptilians like Bill Gates and the royal monarchy and the Clintons, because they want to run the show. They're the reptilians, right? gets really complicated. I don't know how people live in this world with the alien thing.
Yeah, what do the Nordics look like?
They're like us, but a little taller, and they live longer.
Hey, jump into our bloodline.
I know. Can we get a little height? Maybe some of that blonde hair? Yeah, man.
Any hair, please.
Right, we'll take it.
Come on.
So I found that to be pretty interesting. Trump getting read in on the alien presence on Earth, allegedly. So I have a hard time getting down with the alien stuff. I love the book Children of the Matrix by David Icke. It's a really fun read, and he does a real deep dive on the reptilian presence on Earth and the history of the reptilians and the dragons, the dragon culture, and all that stuff. But it's fun to read, but it's hard to really like realistically wrap your head around it and actually kind of live your everyday life thinking like, oh, there's Hillary Clinton. She's apparently an 8-foot reptilian being that, eats the heads off of live human children, allegedly. It's a hard pill to swallow, I could get down more with flat Earth than I can with the reptilian thing. You know what I'm saying?
Get out of here with the flat Earth.
I love flat Earth, man. Yeah.
Flat Earth, get out of here.
No, flat Earth is true, and so is flat moon theory, people. Never forget, the moon is a flat piece of cheese. It's flat, I'm telling you. Yeah. I've never been. Well, Mike, we are cruising along, and I don't want to leave anything out there. We will be back on Tuesday, obviously, to catch up on anything we missed, but it was a crazy week. I just want to make sure we cover the most important topics. Did you hear Hakeem Jeffries broke the record for talking on the Congress floor? Did we cover that yet?
Thank God we did. Yeah.
Only thing I could think about. It was Hakeem Jeffries and Joey Chestnut. That's the only thing I had on my mind this entire weekend, dude.
Was it Hakeem or Cory Booker? Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. One of them broke a record. One of the bald dudes. Dude,
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Ukraine peace deal that is being held up by apparently Candace Owens. What?
I'm going to give Candace... I'm giving her some credit here, man, because I rip on Candace from time to time because I'm not into the we're going to blame everything on the Jews thing. I know a lot of the New Age conspiracy theorists are really into just saying, oh, it's all Mossad and the Jews. And they seem to be missing the fact that the CIA was around before Mossad and all that stuff. But I bashed Candace a little bit, but she's kind of on it with this Brigitte Macron story.
I think she nailed it, yeah.
I really nailed it on the head. I mean, she was offered hundreds of thousands of dollars to bury the story.
Oh, I think it was over $1 million.
I'm sure she's been threatened, but yes, there's probably so many things going on that we don't know about behind the scenes. So she struck a nerve with the Brigitte Macron story, so much so that allegedly, according to her, she got contacted by the administration, by the White House, asking her, I think, to bury the Brigitte Macron story so that way they could sign a ceasefire deal with Russia, if I'm not mistaken. They're trying to stop World War III, but first, nobody can talk about the fact that Brigitte Macron has a penis. All right, we cannot mention that anymore. We got to bury that.
Now we know she has a penis.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, now we know it's a dude. You guys have protested too much.
Yes, dude.
You know?
That's the Barbara Streisand effect going on right here with Brigitte Macron, the ultimate groomer. All right, let's do this.
When I call that person back, they tell me something that is even stranger. They say, look, I again am the messenger here. What I was told from somebody that's pretty high up at the White House is that Emmanuel Macron is holding up negotiations to end the Russian and Ukrainian war unless you stop speaking about his wife.
Excuse me?
Yeah. All right, Big Ben Macron, man. Yeah.
This is terrible.
I'm just going, what? What are you saying? What are we even speaking about? What do you mean negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? I'm just like, looking into a story at my house. I've got a very small team here, and you're telling me that somehow negotiations are being held up and it needs to be communicated to me. They got to stop talking about Brigitte. What are we saying? And then I'm asking myself in my mind, because I hang up this phone, and I am in true shock. Did Emmanuel Macron pretend to fly into DC under the guise of negotiations, the Russia and Ukraine war, and then instruct someone on his entourage to have an off-the-books discussion, a little meeting on the side, maybe somebody, again, like a Susie Wiles, where he made his truer demands? Like, hey, this is for the pictures. Me and Trump were talking about you. We're going to get it done. And then what really goes on behind the scenes is like, we're not doing anything until that little podcaster, Candace, agrees to shut her mouth.
Yeah.
So your wife is definitely your uncle.
Yes, man.
100%. That's what
that blonde chick's a dude. Man.
Yeah, man, it's a dude, man.
That's what they're so upset about. Not only that she revealed it's really a dude, but like who it is.
It's an uncle. This is a grooming. I still can't. The uncle element is just an extra twist of like evil. There's something really gross
uncle
about
by marriage.
Oh yeah, all right. It's still really gross. There's something
Uncle
really
by
gross
marriage.
going on here. So
Yeah.
uncle via marriage, groomed from a young age, and now I believe absolutely it was a baggie of cocaine on that table when they were hanging out, and they got busted in that room. And then
100%.
I'm sorry, but I'm 100% on Big Mike Obama at this point. There's nothing that can convince me that Michelle Obama is not a man, because Brigitte Macron looks more like a woman than Michelle Obama.
But they never like the Obamas don't even. They just kind of laugh it off. They don't even really address it. They're not like postponing peace talks to get people to stop talking about it.
Right, they're not demanding the video of Big Mike's dong flapping through the pant leg on Ellen DeGeneres' show.
Right.
They're not demanding that taken off TV, and then we can have peace with Israel or whatever it is, or with Iran, right? Yeah.
Right, they're just rolling with it.
Exactly. Yeah. So by rolling with it, it's no big deal. It's just a rumor, a silly
just a
rumor online, a conspiracy theory.
They should put out a sex tape. Put an end to it.
Yeah, something where Michelle's just really ramming Barry Sotero. You know what I mean? Just
Dude, like
just from behind, something,
doing
beautiful.
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
You charge
only-
like $100,000 a view.
Wow, dude. Think of the hype though for like the one. It could be like a pay-per-view OnlyFans event. Big Mike Obama and Barry
man.
Sotero.
Could
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yes, man. I'm
It's gotta
down.
be worth it.
I think so.
If I was them.
So this proves it then. Brigitte Macron, actually a dude, actually the guy's uncle.
100%. Why else would you be objecting so much to this podcast?
I know. What power can a podcast have, though? That's amazing. You're holding up peace talks for World War III because you keep talking about this dude's wife's penis. I mean, it's really so hilarious to me that this is the world we're living in right now. Candace
Yeah.
Owens talking about Big Ben Brigitte's penis. We're not going to end World War III. We're waiting. We need you to stop talking about this penis.
How funny is that? Yeah, because they could shut down the talk in their country. But you
Right.
can't shut down the talk in America.
Yes, man.
You just got lucky nobody cares about France. So it
Right.
wasn't until 2025.
Dude, but the more that they're shutting it down, the more intrigue it's building. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. The minute you tried to buy her out for $1 million,
I know,
bucks,
dude,
that's like,
so
whoa, dude.
that should have sealed the deal for everybody, right? Like, okay,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
it.
and so now they just got to admit it. Let's just see the penis. Let's just see this thing unravel. Just show us the dong. We're there. We just want to see the proof, right?
No, just come out as a man. Apparently, she had like the best surgeons. The dude who like started the whole trans surgery thing.
Like the original tranny?
Well, like the best surgeon who like
Who worked on
pioneered all the yeah.
This is the person who did the Brigitte Macron
Right.
remake, the refresh to be fresh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty solid. I mean, it's convincing. Brigitte looks like a woman, but I think the proof is in the pudding now. It's well, now as Brigitte has aged, I've noticed it looks very similar to the scene in E.T. where E.T.'s wearing the wig in the closet. It's almost the
Yo,
exact
it's
same
exa-
person, actually.
It's almost the same wig.
Yeah,
dude.
dude. But again, I mean,
It's harder when you get old.
big Mike Obama though, those shoulders, man. I mean, just such a beefy
She's a
linebacker.
big girl. She's a big
Yeah,
girl.
man. So I don't know. Like, I look at Michelle, I'm like, man, that is a manly looking woman. And then I look at Brigitte, I'm like, well, petite. You know what I mean? There's womanish like qualities size wise going on here. Whereas Michelle Obama is just such an enormous man. Like, it's crazy. Like, whenever Michelle Obama is
She's a
standing with
large
other
woman.
women, it's a huge dude next
Towering.
to all these chicks.
Looking
dude.
like Leah Thomas on the podium.
Yes, man. Which, by the way, did you see?
Stripping him of all the
Yes.
wigs. Dude, we are
Oh, I'm Trump
making
dancing for
America
this one,
great
dude.
again, dude.
Yeah.
That is- Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
That's right, man. So we're taking away Leah Thomas's awards, and we're all in agreement. Brigitte Macron is a man. This
He's
is
officially a man.
really crazy
Wow.
times that we're living in. It's a year of reveal, and good is conquering the evil, it feels like.
Meh.
Right? Yeah.
Are
Trump-
we?
He just brokered a peace. He just did
Yeah.
a ceasefire deal with Israel and Hamas. 60-day ceasefire
Yeah,
agreement.
that's nothing. Happens all the time.
Well, it's better than, the
Then
the
they'll come in
alternative.
with paragliders and
Right. No,
Yeah.
I think those days are over. You get one shot. Like you get one 9/11.
I don't know. Hamas has been doing it for 50 years.
The paraglider was pretty cool, considering
pretty awesome.
considering their phones and pagers were tapped for 10 years leading up to it. So to pull that off with the tapping going on, very impressive.
But you're right. It'll probably be a while because they need to regroup and rebuild.
And
Their-
the rest
their
of
neighborhood.
us, we need to forget. That's the key.
Right,
When you do your
right.
false flags, you got to let enough time to slip by where people forget their government is capable of horrendous atrocities in order to kind of stoke fake patriotism and start bombing countries that had nothing to do with what happened on your country's soil, right?
Good call.
15 Saudis flew some planes into our buildings. Let's go bomb Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying?
For 20 years.
Yes, that's right, dude. We really showed those guys.
Well, we continue to buy Saudi oil.
That's right, dude.
That's our time.
Yeah, man. That's how we do it in
Insane.
America. Yeah, never
Very
forget.
good.
Never forget. But the lesson of Iraq and Afghanistan and the government maybe letting 9/11 happen is if you are harboring the Stargate for Gilgamesh to access the portals to the demonic
Right.
entities and other dimensions, do not stand in Hillary Clinton's way. All right? Do you people understand? If you're standing in front of these neocons, they're going to get their Stargate, man. They're going to contact these
Especially-
demons.
Especially the Clintons. She's going
Especially
to get her
that.
way.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, man. Don't stand in her way. She will load a video onto your laptop and have you arrested by the police. Anthony Weiner, you know what I'm talking about.
You will hang yourself and shoot yourself twice in the back of the head.
That's right, dude.
Like everybody else that stood in their way.
The classic Clinton friends suicide, death by hanging and multiple gunshot wounds to the head.
Nothing to see here.
Carry on, people. Carry on. Well, Mike, I can't believe I'm saying it, man. This is the fastest hour in the universe. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I want to thank everybody for hanging out, enjoying the good times and great oldies. Thanks for the comments in the comments section. And we will be back on Tuesday. We still have some more docket to get to, and I'm sure several other things will unfold in the next 48 hours. We're still due a false flag. Alex Jones, he's been talking about it for 3 weeks now. They may have
we gotta
unleashed...
Oh,
Well, what do you got?
we got to talk about the America Party.
Yes, we'll do that on Tuesday. All right, folks. All right. The greatest reunion show in the history of reunion shows. Yeah, man. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your weekend. And America's back, baby. Happy Independence Day, even though it's a little late, but we're there.
How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high? Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide, in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide, in a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova in the sky. Wake up the dawn and ask her why. A dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball.